Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and today's project is using the Lawn Fawn Here We Go A-Waddling penguin stamp set, sort of holiday stamp set, so cute. There you see it on the left, along with my Spectrum Noir colored sparkle markers and some Spectrum Noir regular marker coloring. So I'm going to be stamping some of the penguins and the notes and the hearts and the lamppost all in Memento Tuxedo black ink onto some Nina Solar White cardstock. Having trouble speaking today. And then I will be coloring those with the Spectrum Noirs, and the Memento is resistant to the alcohol ink in those markers, so they work very well with this. So to start off with, I'm going to use my sparkle colored markers. So this is black. This is available in the metallics set. They come in like sets of 3. Unfortunately, I don't think you can get them singly, but the sets are really nice and they kind of all work together. So, and the metallics is black, gold, and silver, and I will use the gold a little bit later on the bell. But I'm being very kind of careful with this brush tip, and the brush tip on these is very nice, to just get a little bit of black on the outer edges of these guys, just kind of where it would seem like they would be a little bit darker, kind of, you know, under their arms, backs of their heads, as if they were lit from the front. I'm not fussing too much about lighting, and if you've watched any of my coloring videos, you know that I don't fuss about that too much. And then this is Fig, which is like a dark purple. So I blended that with the black, so they have kind of a purpley black hue. And Fig is available in the Vintage Bloom set. And then Harvest Moon is the orange that I use. That's in Falling Leaves for their noses and feet. And then I pinked up their cheeks with Rose Quartz, which is available in the Perfect Pastels set. And it's a very, very pale pink. And then because those sparkle markers are really, really sparkly, I didn't want to over sparkle my penguins because I knew I was going to make my background with the sparkle markers too. So all of their like clothes and accessories I did with my regular Spectrum Noirs. So I started out with CR10 as the base coat on my reds, and then I'm adding DR5 for shading on the reds, and then I will blend it back out with the CR10 just by going over where I colored the DR5, and that makes it blend very nicely. And the DR5 does a good job of kind of toning down the orange that's in that CR10 and making it more of like a true red, but it's not too dark. And I did the exact same thing on the red hat. And then for my blue tones, I'm using TB3 as like the base color, and then TB5 will be the shading color. So I'm going to use shading on the hats more than anything else, and just a tiny bit on the scarf. So there's the TB5, which is a little bit darker, so I'm adding a little bit of shading, and then I'm blending it back out with the TB3 by just going over the exact same areas where I put the TB5, and it smooths out the blend. And then I'll do just a touch, like a dot of TB5 on the back side of that, the underside of the scarf there, and just blend that with the TB3, and that's it for the scarf. I base coated my earmuffs and gray scarf with IG2, which is a very light gray, and then I added, or this is IG10 for the earmuff handle and the handle on the bell. And then I'm going to add IG4. I'm going to color the whole scarf in because it just seemed too light, and then I will add a little bit of shading to the earmuffs and blend with the IG2 on the earmuffs. And that scarf I really wanted darker, so, and here's IG6 that I'm using to add shadow to, well, dark areas to the guitar, and then I'm going to add some more shading to the earmuff, and then I'm going to take and blend that with the IG2 again, and then I'm going to take IG8 and like really darken down the scarf. So I'm just adding a little bit of shading, then I'm going to take the IG6 and just go over that a little bit too, and then I'm going to blend that whole scarf out with the IG4 so it gets darker than the earmuffs, and I did do that intentionally. I wanted there to be a little bit of a difference. And here's the gold sparkle marker that I'm using on the bell. And then my hearts I will color with the regular Spectrum Noir in the DR5. And then for my light, I'm using the colored sparkle marker called Moonlight. And then I'm blending that with the clear sparkle marker. So Moonlight's available in shades of spring, and then clear comes in a pack on its own. Now, I'm sorry, I get off camera quite a bit in this video. I'm not sure what was going on. But I'm really just scribbling this. The color is Starry Sky all over the bottom third of this A2 sized piece of Nina Solar White. So it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And now I'm coloring with Fig. So I'm going over the starry sky a little bit and then going up above it into like the middle third, say. And then I take starry sky and go over the Fig. I'll like kind of scribble into it. And then this is Amethyst, which is part of the Glitz and Glamour set. And I am blending that all the way down and mostly and on its own kind of into the upper part. And then I take Fig and blend all over again to get that effect. And so that is the completed background. And it is really, really sparkly. And hopefully you can tell, like, it's very pretty. Like the color kind of bleeds through, like where it's overlapping, it's a little bit darker. And then there are bits of the brighter colors showing through. Now the greetings in this, some of them are bent and some of them are not. And the ones that I wanted to use were not bent, but I wanted them to be bent. So what I did was, when I put them on the block, I sort of rounded them into the shape that I wanted before I stamped them with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Because I wanted this to flow across the top of my card, like as if it were like lyrics or something, that they were singing. So you can see it there on the top. And now I'm taking a white glaze pen and I'm going around and I'm dotting in stars. Later, I'm going to turn that into snow with a paint pen because the background color does bleed into the gel pen. So the gel pen does not stay white, unfortunately. Now these snowbanks, I just randomly cut with my scissors out of some Nina Solar White. And I'm adhering it down with my ATG gun onto the back and I trimmed off the edges there. And now I'm going to adhere this entire panel down to the front of a side folding A2 size card base. So basically the sky is the background for the card. And now I'm just going to kind of arrange my guys the way I want them on the front of my card, my little snowbanks there. And I'm taking my IG2 marker and adding some shading just right under where they're standing to ground them in the scene. So they're not floating on the snowbanks. They look like they're actually standing in the snowbank or sidewalk or whatever it's supposed to be. And then I will adhere all of my elements down with some Zig 2A glue pen. And there are a lot of elements. I use the notes and the hearts kind of like I would normally use sequins. So they are kind of sprinkled throughout the sky. As little accent pieces, to be like notes because they're singing and creating music, right? And I just thought that was really, really an adorable part of this stamp set. It really kind of finishes the whole thing off. Now this is some Elizabeth Craft Designs 6mm double-sided adhesive tape that I'm using to tape down my greeting. And I'm just adhering it down and then I will trim off the excess of the edges, obviously. And I did put a heart in the middle there from the stamp set with my Zig. And here is so you can see all the notes and the hearts are down. And now this is the very last music note that is going in the upper right. And now I'm going to take my paint pen and basically turn what were stars more into snowflakes because the nib on this pen is fairly big. So I couldn't really get small stars. They kind of became more snow. But that is the completed project. And I really love that crazy sparkle background. It only happens when you hit the light in certain ways, so you can really see it in certain. There you can see it there, in certain lighting, and then in other times you just see the really saturated color, which I think is really fun and really cute. And I love those penguins. Isn't Lawn Fawn the best? So hopefully I've given you a little inspiration today for trying out that Lawn Fawn stamp set as well as those crazy colored Spectrum Noir sparkle markers. Here are 2 more Lawn Fawn projects I've done for Christmas in the past, so you can click on those if you're interested. As always, supplies are linked in the video description and over on my blog. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and hey, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day.